Rap and Reason podcast with Dr. Jeremy C. McCool and Earl Hopkins. All right, we're back at it again with another episode of Rap and Reason podcast. I am one of your hosts, Dr. Jeremy C. McCool.
And I'm Earl Hopkins, man. What's going down?
What's good, bro? We on episode 35.
35, bro. Like I say this every time we hit like a little milestone. It's like, bro, this flown by like so crazy, but we've been having fun in the process, bro. So I can't complain at
Yeah,
all.
bro. And it's dope because it makes us keep up with music more. Like I think that, like
Yeah.
when we know that we have this every week, I feel like it makes me
Mhm.
follow all of the new music more than I might have. Stuff that I would have probably waited a couple weeks to listen to. I'm like, let me listen to it
Mhm.
right away.
Yeah, same. Like I was listening to De La Soul's what is that? What is their album? 3 Feet High or in Rising?
Yeah,
Or like yeah, I was listening to that just because I was like, yo, like we talk about so much music. I feel like I just want to dig deep into like a older album just cause I never really listened to De La Soul outside of a few songs. You know what I mean? And my boy, not my boy, but one of my favorite authors, Marcus Moore, he released a book about De La Soul. So I gotta get that one. I gotta grab that one.
oh no, De La Soul is legit. They really paved the way for a lot of groups.
Yeah, creativity too, top notch, bro.
Yeah,
Top notch creativity, man.
sometimes listening to 90s music, man, it makes you like really question the quality of music now. I'm not gonna lie, and I hate to say it like that, but when I listen to some of the music from those groups, I'm like, man, like where is that? I feel like a lot of just the writing, the quality of the writing
Yeah,
has gone
that
down.
part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we'll talk about somebody where I feel like the writing has gone down later. But later on in but
Yeah.
how's your week been, man?
Bro, it was a cool week. It was a smooth week. Honestly, it was stay in, watch movies. So we watched like the whole or half of the Scream franchise, bro. It was just one of them weekends, bro.
Right.
I just wanted to unwind, uh, and yeah, we just kept it like that. But you were crossing or across international lines, bro. How was that?
Bro, I appreciate you for holding it down, man. You and bro, what's his name? I want to mess his name up.
FA or Chief
FA, man.
FOMO, Chief FOMO, man.
Before, man, I appreciate y'all holding it down for episode 34 too, man. But yeah, man, was in Spain. Took 12 students to study abroad in southern Spain specifically, man. We went to Sevilla, Cadiz, and Granada. We stopped in Cordoba for a minute, man. It was dope, man. Great experience, great group, man. We really had a good group of students. And I think that they kind of knew each other a little bit beforehand just from the class, but like they became like family during the trip. So it was amazing to watch.
Fire.
Yeah, man, and it was also dope to see like going around there to see how much hip hop culture is embraced, and like Spain has a whole like trap Spain thing that's going on there. That's like they got a whole wave of
That's wild.
of hip hop music getting more and more popular there. So it was cool, man. Hip hop is worldwide, so definitely a dope experience.
It's global, man. And trips like these, like I encourage everybody, if you haven't been anywhere, just take a trip to the Caribbean. Like save a few dollars, take a trip to the Caribbean if you can't do a Spain or Italy or France, bruh. And just really soak in like the different cultural like differences, but also the similarities, bro. Like people don't realize like you were in Greece the year before talking about how they were playing 50 Cent, like Get Rich or Die Trying. It's just like we don't think about that, bro. We think hip hop is only like an American entity, but it's a real global export, bro. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And I hate how we age our music and like we don't cherish some of the music that came out a couple decades ago. And that's why we always do throwback reviews here is just to pay homage and just to pay respect to some of the dope music that our culture has brought forward. Because even when I was out there, man, they got a mix of like Brandy and Monica the Boy Is Mine, but with like a Spanish
Yeah.
beat underneath. I heard it multiple times when I was out there. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
some of the music that we think is older, throwback music, like they're rocking to it now. Like um
Yeah.
heard a lot of that out there. I heard a lot of 50 Cent, heard some ASAP stuff there. Like so some of the artists who might be taken for granted in the States, I think that are like they're big deals still there. So yeah, definitely, man. Travel if you can. And take every opportunity you can to travel, man. If you're in school, looking to study abroad programs, a lot of them have scholarships, opportunities available. And
Mhm.
so yeah, don't be afraid to. Man, I wish I did it when I was in college too.
Absolutely. Shoot, I definitely wish I did. Like I always told myself, I was like, man, I can't afford this because I'll have to pay for it in college. But there's opportunities out there. You're right. And for every student that's gone on that trip, cherish that moment, bro. Because when you get into adulthood, being able to travel back and forth, like it's not as easily done. You know what I mean? Unless you're like established. But fresh out of college, like, nah, cherish it now. For
Cherish it
sure.
now, bro, because traveling is expensive. So if you get any
Expensive.
opportunities to work abroad, to intern abroad,
Mhm.
even just even really out of the state, man, a lot of people pigeonhole themselves to the state that they live in. And I'm always
Yeah.
like, man, if you could pick up and move, both of us have picked up and moved multiple times into different cities for
Mhm.
different career opportunities, man. And I think that if you can pack up and move, man.
Yeah. I think that's transformative. Like, bro, I often think like, yo, what would happen if I stayed in like my hometown? Honestly, I don't think I would have grown. Like, I think I would have been stagnant, bro. Like, especially if I hadn't traveled on top of that. Nah,
Yeah,
not at
I
all.
agree.
Not at all.
I feel like I would be doing the same things I was doing. I'd be hanging out with just the same people. I would have never broadened my horizon, and I wouldn't have built the network I was able to build, moving from city to city to city. Like
Facts.
so, yeah. While you're young, especially if you're young, and if you don't have kids, like man, what are you staying stagnant and like in the same place? I really don't get it. Like
Absolutely.
take those risks, man. Take those chances when you can. But yeah, man, dope experience, man. We got a lot of hip hop to get through today. A lot has happened.
A lot has happened, bro. Which one you want to start with, man? Like, a lot has transpired.
Man, so let's start. One thing that I noticed online, and the dope thing about being abroad is I really wasn't on the internet much. I would post my little Spain pictures. I wasn't like browsing my timeline, but when I got
Yeah.
back, I noticed that a lot of people were talking about the industry plant conversation has come back up. I saw that multiple times,
Yes.
and I saw people talking about that in relation to Doechii specifically. Um, and I thought that a lot of people were referring to her as an industry plant, and I think it's a lot of it is related to her getting a lot of big looks, and she's been on
Mm.
Fashion Week and she's doing all of this stuff now. What do you think about the concept of an industry plant? Do you think that that's a thing?
I think Dang, that's tough. That's a good question. What's crazy is we came up with these topics together, bro. And I'm really just now, like, it's still hard to even answer that question. I'm gonna be honest, because do I think that industry plants exist? I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I think we would be a fool to not think that, bro. Like, there's certain people that are placed in our face. Like, I don't know if you feel like naming some, but I may name some. Like,
What's
I ain't
up?
gonna lie. I think like a Sexy Red, a Ice Spice. I think they industry plants,
Let
bro.
me
Like,
tell
I think
you,
that's a prime example.
it's so funny you say that because those are the first two names that came in my mind. And,
Facts.
and I think that they came in my mind more so because to me, when I think of industry plant, I think of people who were placed in positions to become famous without like you seeing any work prior.
That's
Like,
my definition right there.
yeah, like so if there was no, there weren't any like history of different mixtapes or albums or nothing, and they just all of a sudden are just superstars, it definitely looks
Yeah,
shaky. It looks
for
shaky. And
sure.
and Ice Spice comes to my mind when I think of that for sure. Like she just
Off
came
top.
like out of nowhere. And I think that I wouldn't think of Doechii, but I
Not
understand
at all.
but I understand why somebody might. And I
Hmm.
think the reason why is because I feel like she's now bigger than her music is. I think there's a
Mm.
lot of people who don't know a Doechii song, but I think they know who Doechii
Mm.
is. So I think she's gotten more. I think she's bigger than her music is. Like she hasn't had
Yeah.
like some huge breakout hit that's made her famous.
Not at this point, nah. I wouldn't say like Denial is a River, like made some waves on
Yeah,
TikTok, social media and stuff. Like
yeah,
it's a recognizable enough song, but it's not a
yeah.
hit though.
Same thing with like
Yeah.
Nissan Altima, same thing. Like people
Yep.
have heard it and that's dope, but like it's not a mega hit that's like easily recognizable to like the casual
Mm.
music listener. But
Yeah.
at the same time, she's having these big looks and going on these big giant platforms that are typically um allocated to artists who are already a little bit more well known and established. So
Yeah.
I think that is probably why she's coming up in that conversation. Is she or is she not? I don't think so because she did have music prior. Um,
Yeah. She
so
did.
I didn't know about her prior. My first time hearing her was Nissan Ultimate. That was my first time hearing it. And I just
Mm.
ran across that on Instagram randomly, and I was like, oh, this is hard. Like that was my first time.
Hmm. Yeah.
But if she is, she's a talented one. So I'm cool.
I was about to say if we labeling Doechii an industry plant, bro, like she's probably the most talented industry plant we've seen in like a little minute, bro. If that's the case, And I've heard her my first time hearing her, I didn't know it was her until her album, her debut. She doesn't call it an album, but it's album quality. Let's just say they won best rap album of the year, right? So yeah, like I heard her 3 years ago and didn't even know it. I heard her on a Smino album, Love for Rent, 3 years ago.
See? So,
So the talent was there even now because she had one of my favorite guest verses on the entire album. So yeah, man, I don't know. I wouldn't consider her that just because she has actual tangible work we can go back to. Ice Spice did not have anything tangible before she popped off with Munch, let alone the other stuff she's done. You know what I mean? And I don't think she's done anything. Well, I can't say that because she had that record with Nicki. So I can't say she hasn't done anything since, period. But like, come on, we know a industry plant through and through when we see one. And
yeah,
I wouldn't categorize Doechii in that box. I wouldn't put her in that box.
I wouldn't either. And I think we have to. There's a difference between industry plant and artist development. And I think that though I think
Yeah,
sometimes we conflate the two. Like
for
there's a
sure.
difference between somebody starting off and their music not being polished and the team coming behind the person and like polishing their brand and all of that
Yeah,
and putting them back into the public eye and putting money behind them. That's different. And I think that looks like what happened with Doechii to me. It looks like
exactly.
he was more of a raw talent. TDE probably saw her and was like, okay, let's help her with her image, let's help her with this and that, and let's put some money behind her and push it to the forefront. So I think that's very different though.
It's very different. And on top of that, is there's a difference with that and also a label or a manager taking advantage of the opportunities given, right? Like she won a Grammy, so immediately the night of she dropped a song. The name is escaping me, but she dropped a record. Now she's Billboard's Woman of the Year. You know what I'm saying? Like all of these opportunities came from a feat that she had earlier just this year alone. She came out with a great project too. That definitely helps like build that momentum. And yo, I'm Team Doechii. I don't care what anybody, any of these internet troll, anybody said, bro. Like she's a dope talent, and I actually think she's. I can't say she's underappreciated in that sense because she is a relatively new artist. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to put in work, I think, to earn that from me. But I will say, like, bro, she can dance. She's like versatile as an artist. Like I'm Team Doechii, bro. Like
Yeah,
it's easy for me.
I think she's talented, man. I think she and I think
Yeah,
it's undeniable talent. So, when you
yeah,
have somebody like that who can rap that well, even when I hear I see the live clips of her and see the breath control, the stage presence, like
all that.
that's not something you can really fake, you know.
Nah.
So yeah, the talent is there. So however, if somebody decided that they want to propel her to start superstardom, I'm okay with that, you know.
Yeah. Now let me ask you: is Jello, is he an industry plant? Is that considered an industry plant?
Nah.
I don't think so.
No, but no, because he was already famous,
He
relatively.
was already a known figure.
His
Yeah, he was
ball
known for
family is already
athletic.
famous, so I think him putting out music, they might have put some money behind the song, but I don't think that that's no. I think people already knew who he was, so I think that's very different.
I would say only way he can get mistaken from an industry plant or foreign industry plant in my mind is the fact that he had a Rolling Loud set like this past weekend in LA.
That's
That
him.
makes no sense. That makes no sense.
And even
Yeah.
like him performing at like the All Star, was it the All Star game? It was one of those big games that he
Yeah,
did.
it was he performed in the NFL playoffs this past playoff
Yeah,
and I think at the All-Star game too, if I'm not
yeah, I
mistaken.
think it was the NBA playoffs was the one I was referring to, and yeah, there's like some of those looks are very premature, but I think it's
For
because he's
sure.
already affiliated with the NBA, so it makes sense. So at the
Exactly.
same time, yeah, no, I wouldn't just say that an industry plant. Nah,
Yeah, and that could also be like, yo, he's just taking advantage of the opportunity. He got a hit on his hands, bro. Why not? Like, would you
yeah,
turn that down? I'm not turning that down. You know what I
absolutely
mean?
not. I'm gonna
Yeah,
perform wherever I can. From the performances I've seen, I definitely think there needs to be some more artist development, like we
there
mentioned.
needs to be some
Right.
work for
And I think
sure.
that that's the case. A lot of times when people have one big song that blows up, they don't really have time for artist development. Like there's nobody who teaches them stage presence. There's nobody teaching them, how to be able to perform without a backtrack. All of that stuff is missed a lot of times because people are trying to seize the moment, when they have that song that's popular, which I understand why, but
Yeah,
that just comes with time though. Like it's a lot of the artists who are huge now. When you look at their early stuff, they weren't anywhere near as talented as they are now. I say that about
facts.
I say Beyonce. I don't think
Mm,
it was a 1% as good of a singer as she is now when she started.
wow. You think like what took
Oh,
her over the top? Just time?
I think just time and vocal coaches and working,
Mm,
just hard work
yeah,
and becoming a better singer. You know,
yeah.
it's like when I first heard Destiny Child, I wasn't like, oh my God, she's an amazing singer. Like I never thought that in
Mm,
Destiny Child.
yeah.
I don't even think she was the best singer in Destiny Child at the time.
Who was the best at the time? Latoya Luckett, like earlier on? I
Nah,
don't
I
know.
think Latoya Luckett or Kelly Rowland.
Yeah, I'm not a Beyonceologist, you feel me? But I think you got a point. Like just based on memory. Yeah.
Yeah, just off vocals. Like when I used to listen, like when I heard their songs, she wasn't even necessarily the voice that stood out the most to me. So like
Mm,
but she worked hard to become the one of the greatest performers of all time. You know what I mean? So
of all
I
time.
think that comes with artist development, with working with a team, working with vocal
Mm,
coaches, working with dancers and choreographers, and like really putting in the work to become a great artist. Some people
yeah,
it's
and we
natural. Some people are just naturally like you get generational talents like a Michael Jackson who just
of
at
course.
30 years old was an amazing singer, amazing dancer, all of the
Yeah.
above. That's more the exception than the rule.
Yeah, that no, MJ was an alien, bro.
Yeah,
MJ
yeah,
was
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a whole different level of giftedness. You know what I mean? Same thing
Yeah.
with like a
And we
Prince. Like when you're talking about somebody who's self-taught musician, so like that's different. Yeah.
crazy, bro. Like, yo, when it comes to like artistry, dog, I don't think anybody like is there anybody in rap you would consider a Prince? Like level talent or like Prince-esque?
As far as just being gifted at a young age like
Just
that.
being gifted, period, probably. Even if it was developed later. Like, I can't really name somebody off top, bro.
Well, not that because I mean, then you got to talk about them dancing and playing instruments. No, no, that's not
Instrumentation,
really hip hop. Most
yeah.
most hip hop artists don't play instruments. But as far as like just
Yeah.
being like a prodigy, yes, I would say Nas. When I play
Okay.
Nas
That's
for my
valid.
students for my hip hop class, they're amazed when I tell them that he wrote Illmatic when he was 18, between the age of 18 and 20 or
Yeah.
17, however old he was. But he was around 19
Crazy.
and 20 when it released. So like to be rapping at that level with that vocabulary, like
Yeah, bro.
a high school dropout, yeah, that's impressive. Like that's prodigy level writing. Like to
Yeah.
listen to like a it ain't hard to tell. Even if you look at that on paper,
Come on.
like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I think there's people in hip hop who are just gifted like that. I think Jay-Z's gifted like that as a writer, you know?
I think so. I think so. People can say
Kendrick.
like, okay, he doesn't have the look or like whatever else. It don't matter in his style of rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, it
Yeah.
don't matter.
No,
Yeah.
I would say Eminem.
I would say Eminem as a like when
Just
it
a
comes to
lyric.
flow, writing
Yeah.
ability.
Yeah, just as
Yeah,
like
he's the
just
alien.
yeah, he's just gifted as a writer. You know what I mean? As a lyricist. And I think that hip hop, you get it more so in that lane. You don't really get too many people who got all the other gifts. That's like the rare occasion of that is like somebody like an MC Hammer who could really just like could dance at that level or something like
Yeah.
back in the day you got more dancing rappers. You don't really have no many rap. We don't have dancing rappers today. So
Not really, bro. Nah, like the heavy D's of the world,
yeah.
big and dancing. Nah, you don't get that, bro. Why do
Yeah.
I know this, bro? Like, I don't like. You ever wonder on a pod, like, because we're around the same age too. Like, you wonder, like, how do we know this? We just consume so much media over the years, bro.
Bro,
Like old, new, current, like you know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy.
oh, you got to be a
Yeah,
real because we real hip hop fans. Like if you're, that's one thing that
yeah,
I always encourage younger people. Like man, go back and listen to the music of other generations. Like not even
yes,
just
bro.
hip hop. Like go back and listen to some of the blues stuff from back then. You'll never know what you
Yeah.
love and what you really connect with from other generations. And hip hop being over 50 years old now, like there's so much great stuff that's come out of it.
And it's not so old that you can't do that. Like you can dig back in some documentaries that'll even trace you back to the moments, so you can hear from the actual people that lived it. You know, we got a lot of living legends, bro. Like you got to cherish that while it's here. You know what I'm
Yep,
saying?
and you got to buy our book when it drop next year on conscious rap that will be coming.
Absolutely, because we dig into all that. You know what I'm saying?
Shameless plug.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, like a hip hop legend turned famed actor, Will Smith, he's dropping an upcoming album based on a true story on March 28th, bro. Like, tell me your thoughts on this new endeavor by Will Smith.
And you know what? I'm going into it with really no expectations. I think
Mm,
that I'm going to go into it with a blanket slate when he drops it. And I think the reason why is because I really don't know what to expect. Like, I don't know if he's going to go more because I know he's done some music in the last couple of years that was more on the inspirational side. Uh,
yeah.
but he's also done tracks like the one he put out with Big Sean where he rapping on there. So I really don't
Mm,
know where he's gonna go with the album. So I'll be curious to see what it is. But believe it or not, Will Smith is like one of the first rappers I ever heard. So
Really? What
oh,
song like
and
stood
he was
out?
the first album that I was allowed to buy. You know, it
Wow.
was Millennium. I'm so
Hold on,
serious.
bro.
I'm
He
so
got
serious.
an album called Millennium.
I probably was like 6 years old. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's on? What's on Millennium?
I think Millennium was like get jiggy with it and all of that.
Oh, okay. All right. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's wild because he didn't curse. So my mom was like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna get you the Will Smith album." Like, so Will Smith, and I don't think Will Smith gets the credit he deserves for his contributions to music. Which
Nah, you don't.
like Summertime is a classic
Come
record.
on, bro. Classic jump.
If a summer
Yeah.
goes by where I don't hear Summertime at least once, time's not right. Things are off.
Especially in Philly, bro. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
must.
it's a must,
That's a
man.
must.
Like, and parents just don't understand. What was it? Nightmare on My Street was. I mean, he had like there
Yeah.
like as Fresh Prince had some classic records, and then was able to transition that into the Will Smith moniker. You know what I mean? Of
Yeah, the Fly Guy era, bro.
Fly Guy
Yeah.
era. The shiny suit era, if you will, with the big, the big flashy
Mm-hmm.
videos that were relatively safe content, and I thought he put out some cool records even then. Like they were fun, they were lighthearted.
They were fun.
Are they my type of records now as an adult? No, but as a kid, they were cool. Like as a
Yeah.
5 year old listening to some of that stuff, I thought it was cool. So I think, and the first rapper to win a Grammy, and to then say I'm not coming to the Grammys because y'all not publicizing it. Y'all not going to air it.
Facts.
Not showing up. Like Will Smith made some bold moves, man. Shout out Will Smith. But I'm looking
Yeah,
for
bro. And that was just like 35. No, because that happened in 89 when they won the first Grammy, him and Jazzy Jazz. Like that was just last year. They celebrated 35 years of that happening. So, bro, legendary stuff. Like for
legend,
real.
legendary, bro. And it's crazy because in my hip hop class that I teach, I remember when I introduced them to some of Will Smith stuff, they didn't know and these are Philly kids, didn't know Will Smith was ever a rapper.
Crazy, bro.
They know Will
Crazy.
Smith from the Fresh Prince and forward. You know what I mean? They know him from
Yeah.
Prince of Bel Air and then all of the movies that he was in. They skipped the
Yeah.
whole rap
And
era.
people don't even know like why he even like went to TV. Bro went to TV because he was facing like financial issues. So he was like, yo, y'all want to do a series around me? Bet. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
really.
Mm-hmm.
You telling me we got the Fresh Prince because Will Smith went broke?
Yeah.
Yo,
Dead serious. We went to
shout out him
Bel
going
Air because he went broke.
shout
Crazy.
out him going broke because that was, man, that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite sitcoms ever.
Ever, bro. Ever. It's that and Martin for me when it comes to 90s sitcom or sitcoms, period, bro.
Yeah.
Period. So yeah.
To me it's
So
that Martin. I got a sleeper that people sleep on Jamie Foxx show. Jamie Foxx show was good.
bro, they sleep on that junk so
I don't
heavy.
know
I
why
don't get why.
people never mention the Jamie Foxx show, and I'm like, bro, his show was amazing. Like
It was hilarious, bro.
Jamie Foxx
Hilarious.
show. It's a few of those sitcoms from that era that people don't really put in respect.
Yeah.
The Parkers was cool. Like
The part was cool. What was that John with little LL Cool J, bro? Like nobody ever talks about
what was
All
it?
in the House?
In the house. In the
In the
house.
house.
That
Yeah.
was another good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody talks about that ever, bro. Moesha was I wasn't the biggest fan of Moesha personally, but
Polish was I wasn't a big fan either, but the only show now to me that sitcom wise that I would like, even on the level of any of the sitcoms from back then, is
yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, man. Mike Epps show, The Upshaws. Have you seen that?
Bro, people been raving about that. Like my parents love it. I haven't seen it yet,
It's
bro.
hilarious. Like
Yeah.
when he announced that this is gonna be the last season when it comes out, I was like, dang, because it's funny.
Yeah, I got to tap in. Wanda
It's funny
Sykes
and it's
too.
raw
Yeah.
funny. It's like doing a sitcom based on like something that could really happen. It's not like polished at all. So I think it makes it even funny.
Okay.
Hey, and it's him.
Yeah.
Wanda Sykes is on there and hilarious. Like it's funny.
Yeah, I gotta tap in, bro. I gotta tap in one of these Saturdays. One of these movie Saturdays, we'll replace it with a season of the Upshaws or something.
Yeah, man.
But yeah.
Upshaws is funny. But yeah, man. Shout out to Will Smith, man.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely gonna check it out. Like I said, I would be lying if I said that Will Smith was on my playlist regularly or I listen to Will Smith music now.
Nah.
I don't.
Mm-mm.
But I'm gonna check it out
Nah.
because I think that I can tell that he's taking his artistry lately very serious.
Very serious. Like I like the record that he had with Big Sean. I love the visual behind it. So if it's anything like that, I'm gonna definitely check it out, bro. I have no expectations either, but I expect it to like at least be Will Smith level quality, which is a trusted expectation that he's shown that he can match like for what 30 plus years, 40 years almost. So
Yeah.
I'm down to hear it. They already call me Unc on the internet, bro. So I'm gonna lean into full Unkism, bro, and just tune into it.
You getting
We may even
you,
review it. Who knows?
you getting Unk in
Yeah.
your 20s?
Bro, they call me Unc because they call us both Unc. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh,
Because we listen to throwbacks. There ain't nothing
that's
wrong with
true.
that, bro.
That's true. I'll take it, man. Look,
Yeah.
Unk at 27 to 31 is insane, but
Insane, bro.
is insane. But hey, it is what it is. I think we still big bro. We haven't graduated to Unk yet. I feel
That's what I'm saying.
like you got to be like late 30s, 40 to be Unk.
That's what I'm saying. But they didn't press the age up younger and younger. If you not, especially after we reviewed his Cardi album. Oh my God.
We really gonna be Unk because I'm gonna
The
tell you,
Unk allegations are going to be rampant.
I ain't never felt more like an Unk listening to a project in my life. So we could go transition over to this. Recently,
Yo,
Playboi Carti released a project, and this
he
project is
did.
called "I Am Music." What were your
Yeah.
thoughts on first listen?
I'm first. All
Absolutely.
right, man. I'm gonna be honest too. I mean, that's the only way to do it, right?
And
I
I
would say,
and I also want to
oh,
throw in,
go ahead.
I listened to episode 34, and and I heard that there was some Cardi love there. And
There was some Cardi love.
I'm gonna be honest, I've never gave his music a chance because I've never heard anything that I liked. I'm gonna be honest. So I've never even listened to a Cardi project until this one. So this is blank slate. So what do you think?
Wow, this is blank. Okay.
Blank
All
slate.
right. So this crystallizes some things, right? Not that I would expect you to listen to the old stuff, but this is like this review will be very interesting for that reason. So I would say when I first heard this, the first song I play, obviously the intro is Pop Out. I said this is the worst intro I've ever heard in my life. Flat out. I've told my friends this. I was like, this intro is awful. Like it's not awful because of what he's not saying or saying, bro. It is sonically very bad music. You feel me? People gotta understand that. I don't care if you love this, you gotta understand that, right? So then it gets into Crush. And you know what I mean? I won't be too long on this. But I was like, this is already starting off on a bad note. We already heard K-pop. That was one of a handful of singles that he pre-released dang near a year ago before this album dropped. For those that don't know, he dropped this because he was actually like obligated to drop it. I'll get into that later. It's a lot of info. Maybe we'll share, maybe we won't. But he was obligated to drop this and he delivered, right? And so I'm listening to Evil Jordan, another song, another single that dropped roughly a year ago, and it's a new intro to it. I like it, and I ultimately I like the song when it dropped, and I like it now, right? Mojo Jojo, no, that's a no go for me. Philly with Travis Scott. I think like I'm gonna be honest, bro. I think every Travis Scott feature on here, you probably disagree. I think all of them were pretty bad or marginal. Like, yeah, I thought they were all
You said this as a Travis
forgettable.
Scott fan is shocking.
And I love Travis, bro. And it pains me to say this, but like every single time he stepped onto this album, I was like, why was he on here? Like it didn't add anything. But I will say, I will give it some light. So there are like a few songs that have made it to my playlist. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Right.
Radar, I love Radar, bro. I don't know what it is. It's infectious. Rather Lie with the Weekend. I think they got something there, bro. I think it got something. I don't know what it will do on radio or what have you, but I think they got something there. Um, we'll get into the Kendrick like features on here, but I like Backdoor enough. I like Munyon enough. Like a lot of these records are I like it enough to play it. Um, and it stuck with me. But like a lot of these, bro, like Twin Trim, I like. But other than that, I actually like Uzi on that too. I think he did a solid one on that. But a lot of these, bro, I just like the only ones that really I'm gravitating towards are the ones I already heard, like HBA. Like a lot of these I already heard, but most of this, bro, is it's like unforgivably bad lyrically, which is like not what you go into a Cardi project ever like looking to be impressed by, right? Like you don't look for that box to be checked. It's a vibe thing, but I felt like a lot of these records sound the same. Cardi is really dependent on production. I feel like a lot of the production wasn't really like blowing my mind. You know what I mean? Like whole lot of Red, the album that came out before this, which was 5 years ago. People like tend to forget that because Cardi does a good job, and we'll talk about it later. He does a good job of keeping his fan base grasping for more. You know what I mean? He'll give them a little here, a little there, and they just keep on. This fandom grows, which explains why this album actually reached at the top of Billboard this past week at 250 S streams or sales, rather equivalent sales. But yeah, bro, like this project is like it's just not it, bro. I think a lot of his fans are going to be satisfied with what he provided on this one. That's all he can do. You know what I'm saying? But as an objective hip hop fan, as once a big Cardi fan too, honestly, like this didn't really like sit that well with me. I think there's a decent amount, like there's some decent ones on here, but the majority, I think, bro, may have gone 8 out of 30, bro. Like for me, what do you think?
Well, I am so glad. See, this is why we work so well. Give
Yeah.
on stuff that I don't know about. I don't know anything about Cardi's backstory, prior projects, or any
Mhm.
of that. But I will tell you one thing: I don't like this album at all. And,
You standing on it.
there are surely not 8 songs on here that I like. So let me just go ahead. Not even that, probably not half of that.
What did you text me before you finished? You were like, "I'm gonna try to get through to this."
I'm
Through.
gonna try to get through it, and it was painful. It was painful, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was in the car like, man, this is ruining my drive. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It was the so
Yo.
and what's wild is I actually like some of the production on here. The worst
Mm.
on this album is him. Let me be very clear.
Oh yeah.
Problem on this album. The one positive I'll say is I respect the creativity of him. His voice sounded different on every song. I think that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Um,
Hmm.
all the different pitches and like on one verse
Yeah.
it sound kind of future like with a deeper voice, and then another one is super high. So I like that he plays around with the voice. The lyrics are some of the worst lyrics I've consumed in the last 3 years. I'm gonna be honest. The lyrically this is awful. I mean, next level bad. Like I'm not gonna like there's no even there's nothing even redeemable about the lyrics on this. I was trying to find something, and it'll start off okay,
Yeah.
and then it just get worse and worse and and worse. And I'm gonna even be real with you, bro. Kendrick couldn't save him, and this is a great transition
Mhm.
into Kendrick. I don't like some
Yeah.
of the. I don't even like the Kendrick stuff. I'm gonna be real.
Nah, I don't. I
I don't
don't,
really
bro.
care for the Kendrick stuff either. Like outside of some of the
Mm.
wild lyrics, I thought the Uzi one was catchy.
Yeah.
I thought that the one with Future was decent. With Trim, I
Hmm.
thought that was decent. The best song on this project to me is the one with Young Thug and Ty Dolla $ign, and I think that is
Okay.
I like Ty Dolla $ign's sound and
Yeah.
and harmonies and stuff on his music enough that I think it
Mm.
saved that song, and I think that that's a cool song. That's probably the only
Yeah.
one on here I would ever listen to again intentionally.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think Ty Dolla $ign just really can't do wrong. I think he's just that good of a songwriter.
He is though. His pen is crazy.
Ben is crazy. His voice sounds dope on songs. So I think that one was cool. Even I like Young Thug's version on that too. I thought it was cool. But
Yeah.
Kendrick wants to get into those. I'm gonna be real, man. Like, good credit. I thought that number one, the first verse is so terrible that if I didn't know Kendrick was on the song, I would have turned it off after 20 seconds. You know what I mean? But so he
Yeah.
flipped it. He should have put Kendrick first because I'm probably never gonna listen to the song again because I'm not gonna want to have to fast forward the Kendrick part every time. But Kendrick's verse on there was cool, but I just think it even wasn't enough to save how bad of a song that was to me.
Mm.
So I still don't like the song, but I think that Kendrick was giving some bars on there.
He was giving some bars though. I
Kendrick
will
was
give.
rapping on there. He had some lines on there that I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, you came on here to rap for real. Like,
Is that the one where he said, what did he say? My hoes on point, or my girl's on
oh,
point like ASAP Relly or something? Crazy. Crazy bar. I loved it. I loved it.
yeah, there was some bars on that one. That one I
Yeah.
liked a lot. His verse.
Yeah.
The rest of it was terrible.
Mm.
Backdoor. I almost liked it. I was close,
Yeah.
but Cardi ruined it again because he just rambling off random stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a lyric person in music, so everybody's different. Some people are more inclined and inclined to just pay attention to the music and just the
Yeah.
beat. And for those people, this is probably fine. Some of these songs probably work more. For me, I'm a
Mm,
lyric person, so like for me to like, if you ain't saying nothing, it's
mm,
gonna be hard for it to resonate with me. And Cardi's just
yeah.
blabbering random stuff throughout the
Yeah.
song. It's just like, bro, this is not even cohesive.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one was cool, but I still never gonna listen to it again. Um, and then what was the other? It was another Kendrick one on here, wasn't it?
What was it on? I feel like he snuck up on Mojo Jojo. I think he
Yeah,
did
yeah,
like
yeah.
ad libs.
Yeah, he did
Yeah.
like ad libs on that. And I thought the ad libs were fire. Actually, I actually did like
Mm,
ad libs. I thought that it worked well, with the song, but Cardi still the lyrics are so bad, bro.
mm,
Like, and it's
yeah.
crazy to be at that level and have lyrics that are that bad. It's just like, bro, just work with somebody to help you write it at this point. I just go ahead.
Yeah.
It's not like anybody is heralding him as a great MC anyway. So
Mm,
like, and I get what he's trying to do. I like he's trying to kind of fuse rock with
for
rap
sure.
and kind of do like a
Yeah.
hardcore
Yeah.
type of thing. But the lyrics are just so bad that they're not even decent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can just get it to like Future, prime example. Future is to me is not a good lyrical rapper. I don't know if you would agree or disagree, but
Not a lyricist. I would
lyrically,
not.
lyrically he's nothing. You know what I mean? He's not the greatest, but
Mm.
I think that he usually keeps his lyrics at a baseline level where it's tolerable. You know what I mean?
For
It's
sure. I would say tolerable is a good
yeah,
word.
like it's okay. You know what I mean? And if he could have
Yeah.
at least got his lyrics to okay, I probably would have been able to process some of this more. But it's bad.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. The only song on here that I would ever revisit again, I think, would be the Ty Dolla Sign and Young Thug. So
Ever.
that's
Nah,
one.
yeah.
That's one for me. Is one. Is we got 1 for 30.
Yo, that's crazy. So
I'll give
for
him.
our
I'll
listeners,
give him 2 for 30 at best. I'll give good credit because Kendrick went crazy.
so for our listeners, like I'm sure you like, so I know McCool enough to know he wasn't gonna like most of this. So I am more willing to. That's why I was a Cardi fan because I would still say like I haven't jumped off like the Cardi fan bus completely because I will say I haven't seen him perform these live. So obviously this is a new album, but I've never seen him perform live. Period. Now my friends, my people tell me it's a different. You gravitate to the music different. I can imagine that. You feel me? But I think you make a good point in like there's rappers that have combined rock and roll or rock like a lot more seamlessly. Like I think a good example is I would never compare him to Cardi, but like Tizo Touchdown, I don't know if you're familiar with his music, but he combines rock like somewhat in his music. But yet, like in interviews and just from listening to the music, you can tell he puts MCing first. You know what I mean? And so I feel like you can strike a balance between the two. I listen to Cardi straight off vibes. But I don't feel like the vibes really held up over 30 songs, bro. Like I think that's what was missing. I think it was way too long. Um, versus like a Die Lit, which is like the project before his last album. I think that's like still his best work because I know a lot of times we give rankings and stuff. You obviously haven't heard his other stuff, but I would say this is for me. I would say this is probably where would I place I Am Music? I would probably place this at the bottom, yo. Like
Mm,
I would place
okay.
Dial first, self. I would place. Oh, that's. I would place self-titled second. Whole lot of red. His last album third, and I would place this last. That's where I would place.
Okay.
It.
All right. So I'm not the only one who wasn't feeling it. So all right, all right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
I couldn't do it, man. I tried though. I did.
But let me ask you this though: what do you say to like? Because this is a larger conversation. How I think Cardi is revolutionary only in this way. And I had this conversation with one of my boys earlier today. For someone that hasn't put out an album in 5 years, which is a death sentence for most rappers, period. And for his leaks, like his song leaks, which whether it happens accidentally or purposefully, we won't really be able to tell, right? But these artists are too strategic for us not to like kind of think side or look sideways or think in another way. What do you say to artists that are able to still garner a fan base or to garner an evolved fan base that have even grown older with the artist? Despite not having a full body or a full project or even like a hit record necessarily. Like, what is there a talent in that?
Well, I wouldn't say talent. I would say there's an you've managed to be able to connect with your audience on a somewhat deeper level. I think,
Yeah,
but if people are able to do that, you've built a fan base that sometimes it's not even just your music; they're a fan of you. And I think in his case,
yeah,
that might I don't know because like I said, I haven't listened to his other music. I think it's but from the outside looking in, it appears that a lot of people are fans of him more
right.
more than the music. So I think that
Mhm.
you build that type of parasocial relationship with your audience, then I think it's a different dynamic. I think it's they're gonna listen to whatever you release, regardless of what the quality is, because they like you.
Mhm.
That is that, I guess you can say that is a talent. The ability to be able to build that type of audience in mass,
Yeah, it's
and it,
tough.
it's very difficult to do. So in that case, it is a talent, but I wouldn't say it's a musical talent. I think it's the same talent that a YouTuber would have. It's the same talent that
Mm.
a social media influencer would have. I think it's that type of talent. I don't necessarily know if it's a musical talent. Because I'm be
And I
honest,
think it's in that realm.
I didn't hear no musical talent here. I'm be honest. I'm be honest. I ain't hear no musical talent here, but they
Yeah,
them to build an audience this big and yeah. What were you gonna say?
yeah. And whatever side of your brain like activates that, yo, I think Cardi has tapped into it, but ironically, it's in the opposite way because his mystique. Not a lot of artists can get away with mystique, right? Like the whole because his brand is built on the vamps. Like he's on some vampire type of time. It's some rock star type of time. So the fact that he doesn't do interviews, his social media presence is really like
Yeah,
sparse. Like it's unique how he's built that level of fandom, bro. Because like, do you have a Cardi song that really sticks out into your mind? Like that's a hit. Like the only one to me that could like that's considered a hit that's that's kind of transcended like genre maybe is like in New York I'm Millie Rock.
yeah.
How did he my son? Like that's
That's the one.
probably the only one.
That's the one I was
Yeah.
thinking. That was the only one of his I knew. Like if somebody had a gun in my head right now and said, "Man, sing three Cardi songs," I'd be out of here. You know what I mean? Well, other
Yeah.
than the album, I wouldn't know any other his music, but that's the one I know is the Millie record.
Yeah.
And that's the
So,
only one I think has transferred over into mainstream success.
yeah.
But I think,
Yeah.
like I said, he built such a big audience that he's able to still do big numbers without that, which I think is impressive. Like I said, and like you go back to the imagery, it's the style, it's the
Mhm.
social
All
media,
that.
it's the mystique, and I think all of that. I think that's a talent. I think he's probably a branding genius.
Yeah, gotta be, bro. And
Gotta
like
be.
he's influential. I can't say he's not influential because you got a lot of artists from Atlanta that's kind of like, you know what I mean, follow his path. So for all his faults or perceived faults, like he doing something right, bro. You
And
know?
I'll be honest,
Like,
honestly, my biggest question, and we can move on after this, is my one of my biggest questions is I wonder what made Kendrick want to collaborate on this album?
yo, I was gonna ask you that, like, because like I saw a video from Anthony Fantano, and basically his stance, I didn't see it in full. I only saw like a portion of it, but his stance was he felt like it was kind of contradictory, right? Because of the messaging in Kendrick's music, especially as of late, and how him hopping on a Cardi album, few songs like that kind of like he felt as though it was kind of
I, I
yeah.
yeah, I kind of agree. I agree
You
there.
agree?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I agree. I agree because even some of the songs that he was on, it's like Cardi is just blabbering about using drugs,
Mm.
you popping Molly, at a party, killing people,
Yeah.
just random spurts of just nothingness. So I don't know. I don't necessarily know what will make an artist at the level of Kendrick Lamar outside of just, I mean, visibility. But it's not like Kendrick needs any visibility. So maybe they're friends. Maybe he just knows them and just wanted to do it. But
Yeah.
I didn't see the value in this move, to be honest.
And I'll be honest too. I didn't say this, but I don't feel like, of course, Kendrick added something, but I don't feel like in the larger context of the album, I didn't feel like he had to be on the album. Like it wasn't like Kendrick, yo, bro, you are a necessity in this
No,
project.
I don't think he made it any
Nah,
better.
I don't think it made it any better. Exactly. Like, what
No,
was the point? What was the end game? Like, and if it was, you know what I mean? Because we jeopardize or we critique Drake for like hopping on certain waves, right? And taking the essentially like appropriating, right? Like, and I'm not saying Kendrick appropriated this. That would be foolish, but in getting on this project and inheriting or like rapping on this sound. It just seems like out of character. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like I said, we've seen Kendrick hop on artists who we wouldn't expect him to do, like him hopping on Future's Mask Off and on the remix. But I
Taylor
think
Swift's Bad Blood,
with
I
Bad
guess.
Blood, but even on that front though, I think Kendrick added something to both of those.
Exactly.
Mask Off
Exactly.
verse was impactful to me. Like it was like, oh, this is something. Like he came on there to say something with a message.
The
Same
culture stopped for
thing.
sure.
And even Bad Blood, like I don't listen to Taylor Swift, but I think it's a solid song.
It's
So
a solid record.
I
For
think that
sure.
it made sense. But this was just very random to me. Very random. But
Yeah. And I don't think it added anything personally. It didn't make it better. You know what I'm saying?
no,
So
no, I didn't listen to it and be like, oh, this is like it didn't make me even want to revisit those songs again. So I don't, to me, it didn't as a fan. Like I said, but of course, music is subjective. So somebody else might hear that and be like, oh, and they love those songs. But for me, it wasn't. It didn't make it any better to me.
do you think it's a push? Like, do you think Kendrick? Because we don't know, right? Like, I can't call up Kendrick and be like, "Yo, what was you thinking?" But like, do you think like he got on the project knowing that okay, this could give me an added boost for 2025? Like, what do you think
Man,
went
how much
into
more of a boost he need? His song is at number one right now. Luther's
facts?
currently at number one on the Hot 100. So I don't know. I don't know what boosts Kendrick would need. I'm be honest. I think he might have wanted to give Playboi Carti a boost. Like I said, like maybe he knows him or they have
Maybe
some
they friends.
or something where he, I mean, did him a solid. I definitely don't think it benefited Kendrick.
Yeah, nah. Maybe they twin trims,
I'm
bro.
gonna be
They
honest. I think it
yeah.
benefited Cardi because I would have never clicked on this if Kendrick wasn't on it.
I'm gonna be honest. Like, yeah, I think he garnered like he did what he needed to do. If you want to get a Kendrick verse, oh yeah, and a couple of them and an ad lib, definitely market that for
Yeah,
sure.
and the Kendrick verse where he's assumably taking some shots at, you know what I mean? I think it made sense for Cardi
Yeah.
for sure. So I don't necessarily think it benefited Kendrick at all, but yeah,
Nah.
GNX still on the charts now. So yeah,
And that dropped in November of last year, I think. Yeah, like that's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, but shout out y'all. Yeah, I would never play that again.
Yo.
On another note, let's talk about some good music. Dark Sky Paradise by Big Sean.
Yes, sir.
It is the 10-year anniversary. It was last month in February. 10-year anniversary of Big Sean's album Dark Sky Paradise. It released back in 2015, man. What were your thoughts on this album when it first dropped?
When it first dropped, bro, this was out of here, bro. This joint was fire. Like, especially coming after I think this was after Hall of Fame, Big Sean's Hall of Fame, which is an album I do not like. So for this to come out, especially when you got I Don't F With You, bro, like this joint was crazy to me. And they're like, not only did I like some of the, even back then, right? Not only did I like Play No Games with Chris Brown, Ty Dolla Sign, I like some of the like lesser known album cuts like Paradise, One Man Can Change the World, yeah, like I like Win Some Lose Some, like I liked all of these records essentially, bro. Of course, like when you really listen to a Big Sean song, there's gonna be elements you don't like. There's certain bars that come off more cornier than others. But like I think even still, now looking back, like 10 years now, I think this is still probably his best album. Probably.
I,
Yeah.
I would 100% agree, man. When this dropped, this to me stood out way above any of his other projects. Um, Production is just
Out of
amazing.
here.
It's,
Hmm.
it's way darker, and I think that sound I really like from Big Sean. I like him over these more dark, almost grimy type of records. Like really, yeah. Blessings, Fire,
Fire.
him and Drake. I like both of their verses on it. All Your Fault was one of my favorite songs on this.
That
Um,
beat is insane too.
that beat is stupid. Like that one definitely was a standout. I Don't F With You, of course, just a popular record. That was became an anthem for a lot of people. Paradise
Yeah.
for sure is one of my favorite songs on here. That beat is just and
It's crazy, bruh.
beat is insane, and Big Sean was rapping at a extremely high level on that extended version. It's
Yeah.
you've never heard this album. I would say, man, start with Paradise. If you don't like that, I don't know.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell you, man. And I think that Deep, I liked with Lil Wayne. I always liked that record too. Like it,
Yeah,
I like the majority of this project, and I think this is one of the Big Sean's only projects where I really like 90% of it.
yeah,
Where it's like that, like it had that 90% of it is replayable for me. Where it's like I
yeah.
really can play this album straight through, and I might skip one song,
Mm,
maybe two. But other than
yeah,
that, One Man Can Change the World, I also like. You know what I mean? And that song was dope to me because that song could have easily came off corny, and I think it didn't. You know,
yeah,
what I mean? I think he managed to have a deep, heartfelt song like that. Um, but he did it tastefully in a way where it didn't come across corny. It came across
exactly.
inspirational, and I think it worked. Um, yeah, man, the production on his fire. I know this ain't a good time to give Kanye West credit. I know.
I know,
But some way,
especially today of recording.
oh, oh God, you know what I mean. But the production on this record, a lot of the ones that he produced are amazing.
They are, bro.
Yeah,
Key Wayne, like they did their thing on this, bro. Yeah,
yeah, man. This album to me is still, and I think that I even though I think Big Sean has still put out some great music after this, I think that this I wish he had kind of stuck with this sound.
mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
the sound on some of these records, like the sound on Blessings, that type of production. I wish Big Sean has
mm-hmm.
that using that type of production and just stuck with some times I wish rappers would just stick with the producers that work. Like you don't gotta jump with the newest producers and stick with the producers that worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And on this project, I kind of feel that way. Like there's records on here that I'm like, man, this I wish he had just kept working with these producers.
yeah. Or this production style, because like sometimes producers a shift too. I get
True.
that, but like this style, bro, I think it fits him
Yeah,
definitely
yeah, yeah. And,
like a
and I think
glove.
even when you're looking at a song like Blessings, like it's really a motivational, inspirational type of song, but the beat is so dark and so hard that it worked perfectly. Like,
Yeah,
and if you put Blessings over uh a different style of hip hop beat,
yeah.
I think it sounds corny.
Yeah, even if you, because we said that in Better Me Than You on like some of the records too. We were like, yo, this is too like bubbly. You know what I'm saying? Too positive. Yeah, yeah, like it's crazy.
Exactly. If you take the lyrics, "I live the life I deserve," you know, all of these like quotable and motivational,
You know what I
quotable
mean?
stuff. You know, I think it doesn't work if the production isn't like this.
And you know what's like clear evidence of that too? Blessings, definitely. But also like Trey Song and Drake's successful. Like it kind of reminds me of that in that way.
Prime example
Yeah.
of because of the production and because it's slower tempo,
Yep.
it doesn't come across as it don't sound like Christian rap.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It doesn't sound preachy at all.
Hmm.
It just sounds like motivational hustle music that is like, oh, this works.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I think that this album really embodied it. I think this embodied it perfect. And I think that, yeah, I hope Big Sean, man, he need to find the team you worked with on this one and that
Yeah.
studio and that do this again. Yeah,
Yeah, because he has it in him, bro. Like after Better Meeting You, we actually like that album overall too. Of course, like there
cool.
was a few records but for the majority we liked it. So he has it in him, bro. It's all about
Yeah.
recapturing that. Yeah,
Oh yeah, he's still been putting out great music since. It's just
yeah.
this one was just this is a to me a classic record. Like classic.
Yeah, I think it's classic, bro. I think it's classic level. And Big Sean isn't appreciated enough. Like he's been in the game for 15 plus years. And while he's not as maybe as looked at as successful as some of his contemporaries at that time, regardless, bro. Like bro is amazing. He's made amazing music. I think where he went too dark maybe was the album that actually followed this, which is I Decided. I think Dark Sky Paradise struck the perfect balance. I think it did. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. I think that it was the perfect meshing, and I think he was able to like pivot in and out of it. I think he'll do a darker song, but like I said, he'll put I don't F with you in there. That's
yeah,
more lighthearted and fun, but even that's still kind of dark. I mean, the lyric. I mean, it's still a little
yeah.
dark. I just think everything was perfect. I love the imagery. I like the cover art. Like I just think it was just
Of
a
our fire.
think it was a great rollout for Big Sean. And I think that this was like is his staple album still. Like every most rappers have an album that is their standout album, and I think this is definitely Big Sean.
And it's one to really stand on, bro. It matches in quality and the reputation like is well deserved. Where do you think this ranks among? Because I don't know. I like to do rankings in my head. Where do you rank like Dark Sky Paradise like among all his projects? Is it at the top? Probably.
It's one. It's not. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely one to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going one.
Yeah. I think that's an easy call.
Yeah, I think it's an easy call, and I think that there are a lot of rappers, man, from the blog era, just don't get the credit that they deserve, and it's unfortunate, man. We reviewed Big Crit a couple weeks
Yep.
ago. Big Crit is in there. Wale is in there.
Wale,
Uh,
yep.
that that was a crop of extremely gifted rappers. You know,
Mm.
and I think that
Yeah.
they definitely don't get the credit that they deserve, and I think that sometimes it's I think sometimes that generation of artists, not Big Crit to the side, now I wouldn't say Big Crit really falls into this, but I think sometimes they try to adapt to current sounds
Mm.
instead of just honing in on what they do. And I think
Exactly.
sometimes that hasn't worked. Um,
Mm-mm.
and I think that that's why J. Cole and that's one of the reasons why I think J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar out of that group that came out in their generation has been able to kind of stay at the top because they kind of just do their own thing. You know, they might pop out and do something, a feature or something in their realm, but they put out the projects that they want to put out and they don't really alter their sounds for based on what's going on in the industry.
Exactly. And that's why, yeah, you're right. That's why they are who they are. And they're looked at as leaders within the genre, bro. Like for Kendrick on his second album after A Good Kid, Mad City, he could have stuck with that sound, but he made To Pimp a Butterfly, Cole with KOD, and like among many other like projects he's dropped. And the way he's gone about like dropping music, like, bro, it's unparalleled, man. It's
Yeah,
unparalleled.
it's different, man, and I think it's risks. You know what I mean? And I think that,
Hmm.
um, it's going in the booth and just trying to make hit songs
Hmm.
is sometimes a misstep. You know what I
I
mean?
think so.
I think
Yeah.
that J. Cole and Kendrick haven't done that. You know, outside of J. Cole's first album, J. Cole really was just like, I'm making the type of music I want to make. You know what I
And I'm
mean?
doing it on my terms, and look how it worked out, bro.
Like, look at
Exactly.
KOD. He made an anti-drug album.
Literally, any if you told me anybody else did that, I'll be like, it's probably whack. Nobody want to hear it. Like nobody want to hear a Dare album. You know what I'm saying? But he made it work.
He made it work, and when it came out, some people hated on it, and he was like, "Oh well, this is what I want to say. This is my message. Just here it is. Here it is." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But he made sure that the quality of the music was fire, and it stood the test of time because the production is fire, the lyrics are
yeah,
fire. There's not there's no fluff in it. It's just like this is what I'm giving you.
yeah.
People aren't, and it's one of those albums that I think grows on people. It
I
grew on
think it
me.
does.
Yeah, the first time I heard it, I was like, "Oh, this is cool." I revisited it a year later and was like, "This is amazing." Like
Honestly,
went back to
honestly,
songs like Window Pane and some of those, and I'm like, "Man, these are amazing, amazing storytelling, all of that." So I think Big Sean has done that too. But I think sometimes, um, and it might be production. It might be production with Big Sean. I don't know. What do you think is what's separating Big Sean from being in that on that same tier as J. Cole and Kendrick?
I think a lot of it is consistency because his Better Me Than You was his first album in almost 5 years. So I think it was consistency. But also like I just think like his pen isn't always focused or as focused as it needs to be. I think like working with certain producers to tell them, hey, bro, respectfully, like you're amazing at what you do, but this song probably shouldn't be on this project or that verse wasn't really up to par. You know what I mean? Like I think it's a lot of factors. And we got to remember too, like that good music, that good Friday era, bro, like them all being around each other under the same umbrella, bro, that makes every one of y'all sharper. And with them not really being in that space, I think that has a lot to do with like some of the things that we've seen. Um, Tiana Taylor's amazing, but I don't think she's put out the same level of music either. You know what I mean? She's obviously focused on other things, but you know, yeah, that Good Friday, that good music, like Air, bro, like that was a different time, and I think it really benefited Deshaun, to be honest.
I agree that that era of music was different, and I think that they spent a lot of time on while the quality of music.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that, and sometimes Kendrick takes usually outside of him really just being outside right now. He usually takes a long time in between projects too, but I think that he makes
Mm,
sure that if you take that 4 or 5 years off, you got to put out an amazing. You can't put out nothing that's okay. You
yeah,
know, like if you take those big gaps, you have to be putting out something that's groundbreaking. It can't just be a solid,
absolutely.
oh, this is a cool album where you rapping okay. Like it can't be that when you take that big of a gap. And I think that's how Drake was able to manage. I think Drake put out a lot of music that was cool and some of it was good, but
Yeah.
but he was putting it out so frequently that he never was out of sight. If Drake couldn't do Drake and take 5 years off in between albums, it wouldn't.
Nah, it wouldn't work for him. And he knows that. And that's why he always hits you over the head with new music. New and in like very of the moment music too. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Correct, correct. Yeah, so I think that that's what it is. But man, hey, shout out Big Sean for this album because I still
Shout
listen
out
to
to
a lot of tracks off this album. Like some of these
man.
are in my regular playlist. Like, yeah. So this is one of those albums that's gonna live on and it gets better with time. The more you listen to it, you're like, oh man, I forgot how good some of these songs were.
Yes, bro. Listen to Paradise took me right back into my dorm in college. Wait, hold up. No, I was in high school. Senior year of high school, bro. It took me right back at that moment. So yeah, man.
Yeah,
Like this is a great one.
I was in college, man, riding around. I remember when it came out because I was riding around in a busted up Chevy Malibu, bumping Paradise. Out of it, I beat up speakers, man. I remember that. I remember.
Nah, yeah.
I was definitely in college. I think I was. It might have been my junior year, maybe senior year. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, good, great music. If you have never heard of this, I think this is an amazing introduction to Big Sean. So if you've never listened to a full Big Sean project, this is the one.
This is definitely the one, man. Yeah. Like I'm just thinking about it now, man.
One
Yeah.
of Finally Famous was fire too. Which one was that?
That was his first. Wait, Finally Famous. Is that his first joint? Or
Mixtape? That might have been the mixtape I'm thinking of. He had another
I
project.
think it is.
Like I feel like
Nah, that was his debut album, Finally Famous. I was getting confused too because he had a mixtape series called Finally Famous too. But
yeah, but
yeah.
yeah, man. Shout out Big Sean, man. And look, we are appreciative of you all for staying locked in with Rap and Reason podcast. Look, we recently on the YouTube, we just hit 70,000 views. Shout out to us for that. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
Shout out to y'all for continuing to listen, man. And we also, man, we keep making the charts in countries that we didn't know really rock with us. So I want to really, one of the main countries that keep rocking with us consistently. Every time I look, we're on a podcast chart in Qatar.
Qatar, shout out to him, man. The
Shout
Middle
out
East.
Qatar, man. If you listen in Qatar, shout out to you for consistently putting us. We're always on the one of the music lists for music podcasts. So shout out to y'all who tuned in, man, and locked in with us, man. We really appreciate y'all who are listening abroad. Appreciate everybody who's listening in the US, man. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're
Yes.
continuing to bring you content there. Also, make sure that for those who are listening on Apple Music, Spotify, make sure that you are rating us on there. And yeah, man, just keep spreading the word. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and we'll
And
keep
tell that friend.
and tell that friend, and we'll keep
Yeah.
on giving you new episodes of Rap and Reason podcast, man. And follow us on social media. Where can they follow us, Earl?
At Rap and Reason on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, even we even have a Facebook page as well. So go ahead and tap in.
Yes, yes, sir.
Tap
Yes,
in.
sir, man. We've been seeing more of y'all tapping in with the TikTok page too. Continue locking in with us at Rap and Reason, and we'll see y'all next week, man. We back at it.